Hello and welcome to Diecast Restos. I'm Jason and today I have 3 of Lesney's Matchbox 13C Thames Trader Wreck Trucks up for restoration. It entered the range in 1960 and lasted until 1965. While my first example was missing its jib, this one still has it affixed, but it is missing its hook as well as its right side wheels. In addition, I have another missing a jib, but this time with the grey plastic wheels fitted. So my shopping list includes 2 jibs, 3 hooks, 2 wheels and 3 decal sets. Here's a 13C as new, and here is a real Thames Trader recovery truck on which it is based. The footage will probably jump from model to model as I dismantle and reassemble them, so I do apologise for that. There's not much point in showing you the same processes thrice. However, it does lead me on to the casting variations of this model. In 1960, when it replaced the 13B Bedford wreck truck that I restored a while back alongside the earlier 13A Bedford, it was released with the 24-notch grey plastic wheels. It first came with a painted red metal hook and then a silver metal one. The chunky black plastic tyres followed as the crane jib began to have its lattice filled in rather than open. The fine tread wheels in black came last, where a grey plastic hook could now be found, and the decals could be discovered without their previously outlined lettering. Otherwise, it was always painted red with a black base plate, and had trim to the grille, headlights, front bumper, and the Trader's iconic smaller bonnet-mounted grille. It was replaced by the 1965 13DQ Dodge wreck truck, continuing the number 13 in the series' legacy of all being recovery vehicles. Unfortunately, the rust that encased the grey model's axle caused 2 of the already fragile wheels to break, so 2 further reproductions are required. But I am now fixing the structural problems that affected the castings, such as the bent axles, which are then put into my drill to remove the surface rust. That includes the hook arm hinge that I managed to salvage. The rear compartment on a couple of bodies needed readjusting, as they had been crushed or bent inwards slightly. It doesn't take much effort to straighten them out using intermittent force. The crooked base plates are hammered flat so that the axle will sit properly when the model is reassembled. Now that the metal parts are sorted, it's time to paint strip. The Trader was part of Ford of Britain's Thames commercial vehicles lineup from 1957 until 1965, when the Thames name was dropped. It was replaced by the Ford D series of trucks. Its distinctive Ford control cab design set it apart from competitors' commercial vehicles. It covered the 2 to 7 ton weight range, powered by both petrol and diesel 4 or 6 cylinder engines. Lower weight vehicles had a shorter wheelbase, but the higher range was available in longer wheelbases. The Mark I had Thames Trader written in red on a chrome strip and had a white painted grille between the headlights. In the centre was a circular badge, but the 1962 Mark II had the words Trader spaced out between the lights, with the chrome strip simply reading Thames. Having been introduced in 1960, this casting has the circular central badge present on the front, and so it is a Mark I Trader. But this model was not the first Trader in the Matchbox series. Instead, it was beaten by the 28B compressor truck that had been released in 1959. I am now cleaning up my black sets of wheels. The smoother set had a lot of paint spread across them, so the Dettol was required in this instance. Both 24 and 45 notch sets, including my reproductions, get a coating of Citadel Nuln Oil. I will leave links to all of my reproduction part sources in the description below. But here you see one of my 3 castings painted in TS8 Italian red. And this is the original jib getting a coat as well. The black painted base plate has its wheels reattached and has chrome applied to the newly formed axle ends. Next I set about to detail the front in Molotow Chrome, so this will include the headlights, connecting grille, bumper and the bonnet mounted grille. As mentioned earlier, the grille on the Mark I would have been painted white, but this was painted in silver by Lesney, either hand applied or mask sprayed. Their colour for trim hadn't yet become anything other than silver or red in 1960. So now I am fitting my repro hook and securing it with the existing hinge pins. For the other two castings, I'm salvaging the hook hinge pins from some scrap 64A Scammell recovery trucks. Once the hook is secure, I add some chrome highlighting and then reattach the rear axle and wheels. The reconstructed jib then simply clicks into position. I haven't needed to screw this onto the base as it is very secure as is. So with all the highlights with chrome now complete, I can prepare the model for decal application. These full colour reproductions from model supplies are really very good. Having cut carefully around the decal, including a slight indentation around the wheel arch, it slides off the backing paper smoothly into place. There's little adjustment required as it fits neatly between the lips on the sides of the casting. The excess moisture can then be rolled out with a cotton bud. Lastly, prior to reassembly, Mr. Mark Softer is administered to the newly applied decal. So now all that is required is for the base plate to be screwed back on. It first slots in at the back and then the front is aligned and completed with an M2 screw. But, and this is a big but, this is my reproduction jib. I should have tried fitting them together before painting in hindsight, but the hook doesn't marry up to the holes on the jib and my borrowed pins don't fit through either. The overall quality of these particular jibs is very poor indeed, but let's not fuss over these anymore and move on. Here is how one of my 13C Thames Trader Wreck Trucks appeared to start off with. Luckily this particular one had its original jib intact, but it was missing two wheels, its paint, its decals and its towing hook. After the reproduction jibs let me down massively on my other two examples, I'm thankful that I had this model to fall back on. There was still plenty to do to fix up this wreck truck, and so here is how this 13C now looks. Standing up straight with two replacement nobbly black wheels, this Thames Trader is looking sharp, with those excellent reproduction decals standing out in particular. This casting has received a yet again superb coat of TS8 Italian red from Tamiya. The original jib looks miles better than those shoddy repro efforts from earlier, yet the replacement hook is actually pretty decent. Each axle and the hinge pin has been touched with some chrome, and also receiving chrome trim was the front end. The headlights, grille, bumper and bonnet grille were all treated to the Molotow pen. Anyway, that is all from me today. Please, as always, like, comment and subscribe. I'll show you where I've got with the other two part complete models at the end of the video. Don't forget to support on Patreon or via YouTube if you can, and thanks for watching. I will see you again for the next one. Bye for now.